Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
It's Stacey Cole and Carol Hughes. We are diving into yet another horrible story for you. That's what you come here for, I think. Don't you think, Carol? This is why people are here.
Because this one is really horrible. This one, actually, it really is. It's hard to talk about.
It is. And the sad part is, and we'll get to the story in just a second, what's really hard is this isn't the only case that we've had to talk about that's similar like this. What it is an Iowa family is charged with abusing an 18-year-old relative found weighing only 70 pounds. And I will go into the story in just a second, but I will tell you, I live in central Wisconsin. We have a case here, very similar. If you look at the 8 passengers case with the Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke case, those kids were abused. Those were for a different reason. The case here in central Wisconsin was a 15-year-old that weighed 58 pounds that was found. So I'm going to be going to some of those court appearances. I've been trying to track this family to see what's going on. There were other kids in the family, and this was a stepchild that was being starved, basically. So it's just a very weird situation, and there's probably more like this out in our country.
God, I swear every week I see another story like this where there's a child that's been abused, a child that was left in the garage because he wet his bed, and then they find the kid deceased. Or there was one with a kid they were keeping outside in a dog kennel. And it's just so, or closets frequently. It's so horrendous. And I don't understand how you could, number one, ever even hit a child. I don't have kids, so even spanking a child is beyond me. You know, I have pets. I can't hit a pet. You know, because it's just not who I am. It's not me. But you know, when it goes to an extreme abuse, you know, when there's other kids in the house and this one child seems to be abused, but then you think about the other kids witnessing that abuse, it's almost they have to jump on the bandwagon with the parents to save themselves. You know, how do you live in an environment like that? Because that's not normal. And how do the kids, I don't know. I have so many questions. Because it's beyond you and me.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like that. These are horrific people. Absolutely horrific, horrible people.
Yep. I'll go into the story so we get some more detail on it. 4 members of an Iowa family face serious charges after allegations of abducting and abusing an 18-year-old relative. Gary Graham Jr., age 44, Danielle Graham, 42, Aaron Williams, age 20, and a 16-year-old from Zearing, Iowa, are accused of first-degree kidnapping and willful injury. The shocking case unfolded earlier this year when the victim was discovered in a horrific state at a Des Moines area hospital, weighing just 70 pounds. So you have an 18-year-old weighing 70 pounds with multiple traumatic injuries, including brain bleeding and broken ribs. And this wasn't from a car accident, okay? This was not from falling off a roller coaster. According to court documents, the teenager had suffered from various injuries indicating prolonged abuse and severe malnourishment. The probable cause affidavit revealed disturbing details, including video evidence. Oh my God, these people. Showing the victim restrained with athletic tape on his wrist and shackles attached to the the bunk bed frame. Messages and search history on family members' devices suggested their awareness and participation in the abuse and malnourishment. Danielle Graham reportedly told investigators that the teen, who had moved out of their residence in late November after turning 18, returned in dire condition on January 26th. The affidavit quoted her saying, "I thought he was dying upon seeing him." The victim informed authorities that he had been frequently handcuffed to the bed both day and night. The messages ranged from, quote, "Don't hit him in the nuts anymore, at least until the swelling goes down," or "Hit him again and tell him to stop giving you dirty looks," followed up by an additional message of "one more time," according to the affidavit. So there's the Ferreter case down from Florida. We'll be tracking that one. We tracked the dad He was convicted and sent to jail. The mother is going to be on trial, I believe, next month. They basically kept an adopted kid in their garage in a cage. But again, how dumb are you people? They had like a ring camera in there so that they could track when their child was doing things when they would move for their own abuse needs. Why are people recording this shit?
Oh, God, that makes me so sick. You know, it's like, this is a child. You need to love and nurture and care for a child. You adopted this child.
Right.
Why turn around and abuse the child? And I don't understand abuse anyway. Like I said, this is not who you or I are. I don't understand how people get like this. But, you know, handcuffing a child to a bed, putting a child in a cage, locking a child in a closet, or, you know, there's been a case recently of the two young boys locked in a bedroom, and she would just throw some food in, and they had buckets to urinate in, and they escaped through a window somehow. Why? You know, at some point, wouldn't you just say, I cannot care for this child? And, you know, I might hate to put him in foster care, but at least the kid has a chance.
Right.
And I don't even understand, like in this case, and that will come out, I'm sure, but it says they keep referring to this teenager as a relative. So I don't know if it's Danielle Graham's child, maybe, or a niece or nephew, because there are allegations of abducting and abusing.
What is that?
But then they're saying she said that he left in November or something after turned 18, and then they didn't hear from him. But then he shows back up in this horrible condition. So I guess that's the cover story, because supposedly he's never left. And so why is this kid with them? Who is this kid to them? What about the other two kids? And, you know, and especially the 16-year-old, you know, how long has this abuse been going on? If you have one person in your house being abused like that, and you're a teenager too, do you jump on board, or do you risk being in the same situation? I don't know.
You may not have a choice. Now, the 16-year-old faces a $500,000 bond. Gary, Danielle, and Aaron, they are adults. They are being held on $1 million bond. And a female, the 16-year-old, faces a $500,000 bond. So they must have felt that 16-year-old
she was involved.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, as a kid, what choice do you have? Either you take part in what you're being told to do, or you become a victim yourself. So it might have been self-preservation. That doesn't mean it's okay. You're going to be held accountable, but are you as accountable as the adults who should know better?
Well, and I was reading about him, the Gary Graham Jr., whoever this person is. He spent 2 years in prison after a conviction for domestic abuse in 2009. In 2017, the divorce agreement with another woman was amended to give the woman sole custody of a child due to the abuse perpetrated, perpetrated by him. So he's been known to abuse in the past. So my guess is he kind of orchestrated this whole thing. I don't know.
God, it's just tragic. And my question to everybody listening, I mean, look around your neighborhood. We all know there's families where you kind of just scratch your head and go, there's some shit going on. Kitty corner from my house. I always knew something was up. I didn't quite know what it was. There was an older guy, seemed elderly to me, but still mobile. Just a jerk. He was a prick to me. He yelled at me once. I was outside with a flashlight late at night looking for something I had dropped, and he screamed at me. I mean, across the street, the flashlight was not affecting him. I used to be an EMT firefighter, so I have one of these high intensity firefighting flashlight. So yes, it was bright, but it wasn't bothering him and I wasn't shining it over at him. But he yelled some obscenities at me and told me to get fucked or some. I mean, it was just like, what?
Jesus.
I'm not doing anything to you.
I lost
But I always kind of
something.
knew that there was some stuff going on at this house. Well, it turns out like 7 months ago, I saw just a vicious post by his daughter on our neighborhood group. It turns out he had been abusing his daughter's daughter, so his granddaughter, sexually and beating his daughter. And she was moving out and she was warning the entire neighborhood about dad. And so he was arrested. The house has been sold. Somebody bought it, flipped it. Now it's being sold again. But it's like, you know, do you tell the new people coming into the house what happened at that house before?
Yeah, it's like you might want to sage and cleanse this house, get it blessed or something, because this is not good.
Exactly. But, you know, it makes you look around your neighborhood and go, what am I not seeing? And not that you should be a looky-loo or, you know, knows your business into other people's business, but what are we missing? What are we, you know, is there another 70-pound 18-year-old in somebody's neighborhood? I'm sure there is.
And I've heard some stories. There was one recently in a similar situation that just makes me sick. But the neighbors had no idea there were even children, and they had never seen him. They thought it was just a couple living there. They didn't know there was 2 kids. And those are the ones that kids snuck out of the bedroom somehow. They got out a window. And they didn't even know. So these people can be super secretive and I don't, because it's not me. There's no way I can ever understand. But I just don't get how you could treat another human so horrifically. Absolutely horrifically. And it's a child. It just, because who knows how long this abuse has been going on.
Yeah, you're a trash human being if you can do that to another creature. I mean, I can't, obviously I'm very involved in animals. I've never killed an animal. I've euthanized an animal with a veterinarian nearby, but I've never, you know, intentionally killed, you know, for no good reason.
Oh.
I've swerved when a squirrel runs out in the road. I mean, I would be devastated if I ever hit a squirrel. I can't imagine harming another person. I just can't.
And repeatedly, daily.
Yeah,
You know,
intentionally. Like
this
I'm going to
child
set
is
up
starving
to
to death in your house, and you're okay with that.
Yep.
You're actively involved in that. I don't get it. Don't get it. These, once they get done with prison, you know, they just need to go to hell because that's where this guy belongs.
Again, look around your neighborhood. We all, go for walks in our neighborhood and kind of peer into our neighbors' windows and wonder what's going on in there. Maybe we need to wonder a little more.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers Podcast, dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.